And we're back to talk some spring sports. Yada.
Yes, let's start with softball. The women's softball team went down to Baton Rouge, as they call it over in those parts, the Bluff. Got off on a great note, winning the first game 6-3. Entered into the second contest and won that as well, 13-9. So they had the thoughts of maybe bringing out the broom. It was not to be, so we need to slow our roll a little bit. They lost the third game 4-7, but the fact that they took 2 out of 3 is strong. So they sit in second place and they're 1 game ahead of the Southern team they just beat. And so they put themselves in a very good position in terms of continuing to do the things they look to. So next week they continue into action and they'll be back at home. They have the midweek game against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. That is on home. So 1 o'clock game on the 12th. And then you have a 3-game set, if you would, against Arkansas Pine Bluff on the 15th and 16th at home as well. So it should be fascinating to kind of see, can they continue this momentum they're having on the softball field and the diamond to find a way to get it done. Transitioning to the men, it was the rivalry weekend. Prairie View hosting Texas Southern University. That started off the 3-game set as they start off on Friday. They did a 10-run rule of Texas Southern University, which is a statement in itself, winning that game 14-4, playing some really good baseball. Came back Saturday, and I got a chance to actually get down to Prairie View with Deuce to check out that game, and it was extremely entertaining. Prairie View jumped out in front early in that matchup. Texas Southern fought back. It was a couple of innings where they allowed Texas Southern to put up the cricket letters, if you would, as they say, 3, which made it a little closer game, 4-3 as they went into the 5th inning, if you would. And then you had 1 inning that was really bad for Prairie View, where they allowed Texas Southern, the Tigers, to score 5. So they went up 8-4. They fought back, and I was talking to Deuce, and I said they need to put up 2 runs in this inning just to put a little momentum there and pressure on them. And sure enough, they did 8 and put up those 2 runs and got 8-6. They allowed the Tigers to score another run, which makes you a little nervous going into those 8th and 9th inning. And we were enjoying it, moving around there. They fought back, and they had a 9th inning one to remember. Smallest guy you would think on the field. Deuce is sitting up there. I need a homer. He didn't get a homer, but he got a big 3 RBI triple. And the guy that's sitting there, which is funny when you're watching these games, because folks are just open to really take you into this, had a chance. And he was like, well, if this guy hits a homer, everybody here will be just as surprised as him. He turns around and hits that triple. The guy says, call it, young man, call it. So he starts cheering. So it's fantastic. They scored 2 runs, get another run, and essentially tie up the game in the 9th. And so he looks at him. He said, you going to call it again? We get this run here, we win the game. And you got a big RBI single in that matchup that was really big in terms of them winning that Saturday game 10-9, just getting it done in so many different ways in that matchup. I thought was fascinating when you get Turner with that single to left field that had the RBI for Redmond advance in to score that game. Not to be today in terms of Sunday, when you had a chance again to bring out the brooms. They fought back a little bit, and I guess I shouldn't use fault because there was a little dust up in the second game. They got it all under control. And so it looked like they actually were thinking about not playing the rest of the game. It looked bad, but it was not as bad as could be. No fists were thrown or no punches, I guess you would say, I should say. But you came back today, and they actually got run ruled themselves 16-4, but they continue to fight. Now it sets up a really big matchup. You know, the softball team just went to the Bluff. Now the baseball team goes down there, and they are in second place, tied with Grambling as they lost to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Southern swept Alcorn, so they have a 1-game lead going into next week. And if you're following baseball at this point, it is really exciting in terms of these matchups, because every week seems to build upon another one in terms of where you sit, finding yourself in the standings. Right now, Prairie View is a game back, but they have a chance to really make a statement as they go to Baton Rouge to fight Southern Jaguars to see if they can come back in first place next week.
Nice. Baseball and softball are doing their thing.
Yeah, definitely. So my next question is going to be the crowd. How are we doing on participation at the baseball games?
A pretty good crowd. Baseball, softball, all those sports where you have a lot of parent involvement.
Good. Okay.
So you have a lot of the parents that come out there. They're very voiceful, very exciting. Obviously, in this terms of matchup, you had a lot of Texas Southern parents come down to this game. So you had a pretty good crowd. They have the lawn chairs out there. Obviously, we have a nice facility in terms of what's going on. So you get a pretty good fan. And I like the fact that you got a lot of students out there. And I'm not just saying the softball players or students that often always cheer on the baseball team because they kind of go back off. Obviously, they're on the road, but you just had a general contingent of students out there were checking out the games, getting a little sun. It was a beautiful day. So they were in and out of the game. So good crowd in terms of, especially when you talk about the engagement. They're cheering, heckling, they're pushing for their team. So pretty good, pretty good.